One.
Well, hello and welcome again. This is Bruce Ross from crisp and chilly Auckland, New Zealand, and we've got Chris Shearer here, Michigan. He's enjoying the warm climes of your summertime. And we're coming to you again. This is our 10th week, and we're continuing the process. We've introduced you to the Free to Sell framework, the essential elements that we feel need to be there if you want to build your business to a sustainable, scalable, and ultimately saleable business. And so we've been taking you through each of the different elements. And well, apart from last week we did introduce something different. This was the declare your independence. So this week we are introducing measurement and results. This is what it's all about, because what you want in your business is performance excellence. You want something that's running really smoothly. Obviously that needs all the different key components. There's leadership, and you want outstanding results. So you'll see this, and this is our Free Yourself framework again. Thanks, Chris, for automating this. And wait for it. Here it comes. Here it comes. The rocket fire results. So this is what it's all about. This is the bottom line stuff that you look at. But in fact, what are the other elements you need to look at? What are the other elements you need to consider and measure to have a high-performing company? That's the question. It's an essential area. So why measure? Chris, if you can bring up the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these are all the component parts. You need to be measuring them to ensure that you're on top of it. You need to know as a leader, it's almost like a dashboard that you need to know what's happening and to see quickly ahead of time what are the what's working inside the business, but also what you really need to be putting your attention to. So is the strategic plan working? Are your systems and operations purring, or are they lumpy and chunky? All these different elements need to have measurement to them. It's almost self-explanatory. Anything you'd like to add, Chris?
No, I think the one thing I would say is that we're really big on this living strategic plan, right? So we don't, we actually should change that too. It's really a living strategic process. We don't like an event. We like a process that incorporates all the different elements and is pervasive across the organization. So that's really what we're getting at here today. And you'll see as we look at this, there's just so many different things that need attention that it needs to be across the organization.
So yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so you might be asking, what is it we really need to measure, right? So again, we're basing this on the framework that we've been talking about for some time now, and they're basically three different bubbles that we're going to pop up here. The first is external, and that's looking at how your customers and other stakeholders view you. In some cases, you may have other owners in the company. There may be other suppliers or relationships that are important in terms of your overall management. When you look internally, you really need to be looking at how efficient and effective your operations are. And clearly, we've talked a lot about that. You want to make sure that you have systematic processes and you're measuring your ability to achieve that, but also do that to this next point over time, right? So when you look at a time perspective, is your organization learning and growing given what's going on internally and what's going on externally in the market? So the end result is that we're looking for some kind of composite measure that gives a balance across your strategies, right? You don't want to inappropriately trade off amongst those stakeholders your objectives, whether they're short or long term. And that's kind of the big lesson from this. So when we look at what to measure, there are a number of different dimensions that we're going to be looking at. You need to know what your current performance is in terms of in the actual level, the scale that you're using. You want to be looking at trends and are those results improving? Are they staying the same? Are they getting worse? If you've watched our webinar, a lot of companies have rapid growth after the initial startup, and then there's eventually there's some kind of plateau and eventually a decline. So we're very well aware of that and want to make sure that you understand where you are in that life cycle. In terms of comparisons, you need to know how you're performing relative to other organizations, not just competitors, but really anybody within the industry or elsewhere that is providing a best practice for you. And then from an integration standpoint, you need to be tracking your results relative to the needs of your stakeholders, and then using those considerations in making decisions going forward. Okay, so now that we have a bit of an understanding of the actual dimensions and the different areas that we're looking at, how do you measure? And that really comes down to data, right? So you need to have a focus on your measurement and an analysis of those measurements. So it starts with selecting the data that you're going to be measuring, actually gathering it, measuring it, analyzing it, and then having a way to handle that information and knowledge. Once you have that, your organization needs to be able to review that information, not just the data, but review that information to track your performance, and then learn from that entire process. And that's pretty involved. The next step is making sure that your enterprise has an ability to manage that knowledge going forward, right? So if you think about all these different things, from going discrete data to actually managing knowledge and creating a learning organization, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of people involved, a lot of different entities in a broader environment, and that requires integration. And that's why we're really bullish on having a management system and a platform that covers really everybody in the organization. So what to measure, right? So you're going after your results, and ultimately you're looking at your performance relative to competitors, other organizations with similar product offerings or capabilities in that specific area. So we talked a little bit about this before, but that internal, external, and future performance is all related to your products and your processes, right? And your services. How is your performance for those products, for the specific services, and for the effectiveness of that operations? Are you measuring results that are customer focused, right? Is it what your customers actually need? Does your entire workforce understand those different needs from your customers for your specific product and service related to an actual process? And then do you have the leadership and governance to make sure that all of those things are properly incorporated and you're able to control them, right? So you basically want to make sure that you have a specific objective and you're controlling that and mitigating any risks around that. And that requires a leader, and the leader needs to make sure that there's a governance around it. And then ultimately your financial and market performance is going to be in your P&L and your balance sheet, and relative to how the market's performing. That was a lot, Bruce. I'm going to stop for a second and see if you have any comments.
Yeah, sure. No, it makes absolute sense. The key thing here is measurement is a key element, is a primary element, and you as the business owner need to be on top of that. But there are ultimately all of these different areas. The other thing that I would add too is that ordinarily it's section areas that have responsibility, section managers that have the responsibility of knowing what the system or the process results are. The recommendation here is that you start to feed that information through to your staff as well, because the key and important area is that you want your staff to begin to think and act more like the business owner. Therefore, they need to be aware of the same metrics that you look and assess the business. What's the business health? How do we assess our health? And so this is part of the consideration. So take it to the next slide there, Chris. So we recognize that measurement's huge. It's important. We've talked about it, and it's common sense, right? There's a whole range of benefits associated with measuring. You know exactly where you are, therefore we need to put your focus. So we have a success score. We have something which is a proven methodology to identify just exactly where your business maturity is in terms of the growth from sustainability, scalability to saleability. And this gives you, in a report, it's a 25-page report, although at the different levels you can buy into it. It may just be an overview, but it assesses the 6 critical dimensions and gives you suggested ways of looking as to what to do, what to improve on. So we've talked about having an overview of your business across all the multiple areas. Well, here it is in one report, one assessment. And so it's going to identify the 6 critical dimensions. It doesn't include mindset because that's not to do with the business, that's at an individual level. But it does give you ways to improve everything from how to engage customers, how to engage your workforce, how to improve your systems, optimize operations, and so forth. It's a brilliant and proven success score. Next slide there, Chris. So what does it encompass? Well, the gold standard is really, it's proven. And if you go into the world of business, it is recognized as right up there. So it is, we've talked about on a number of occasions, we've talked about the systems that we apply. We've downsized them for the SME market. Are the same systems that large, very large organizations and corporations use. So this is a right for you sized or right sized assessment. You can use it as a diagnostic. As I say, it's proven to be an accurate indicator of just exactly where you are in your journey. And you're able to see there's an aggregate score as well as it broken down into where you fitted what your rating is for each of those 6 critical dimensions. So it's proven, it's really available, and we're making it available to you because it's crucial as your job as a leader. So there are a number of offerings that go with this because we think it's, oh, if you just inserted another one in there, Chris, review with an executive summary. Okay. Well, of course, this sort of information as well, whilst you may look at it and go, this is really useful, if it is that you need or want external support and advice, we can provide that for you as well. So that's where the review factor comes in. So what are we talking about here? How much does this success score actually cost? And I think you're going to be really, really pleased because you can get all of these things, and the usual charge for this is $199, but for the first 10 people, it's going to be free. So if you email through to Chris and you say you've heard this, you've seen this, you're interested in taking the success score, he will email you through the details and there will be the document sent to you. It's a significant and a substantial document. The free version is a cut down version. And if you're looking for more than that, if you're looking for a more substantial version of that, 25 pages. So yes, there is substance behind it. If you're looking for that, here's an indication of what you get, the 25-page version. That comes with another package. So last week, we introduced the $995 per month do with you or with you program. So there are a range of features, but the key thing here is that we work with you. There's a lot of our time spent, weekly coaching sessions with you. But we've recognized that some people may not need that. They are very much motivated. They can do things by themselves. So this is a do-it-yourself option. So option 1, you can just get the free success score. Option 2, you may think, right, I'm ready to hear what you have, to engage a little bit with that, and go through all these steps and stages. Free your time. How do I free my time? How do I free my mind, reduce stress, and so forth? I want access to your whole curriculum, please. And so we've made a special offer here as well. And what gets included in this is the roadmap, that 25-page assessment we've just been talking about, the success score. There's our curriculum of online learning modules, and that covers leadership, mindset, those 9 areas that we were talking about before. So those are available at, downloadable obviously in your own time. We have weekly live question and answers, so you can call in on a weekly basis, and their questions could be on anything within the curriculum, so business related. And that again is with subject matter experts. Now, there's something extra we have referred to almost ad nauseum about the need for an integrated management system. And we call this our Mission Control Center, MCC. And this is how you get your whole team engaged without meetings or emails, actively contributing in a learning environment and contributing to the issues they face and improving on them to improve the overall capability of your business. That's included in this package. It's an online system. And inside that, there are the key insights as to how do you not just improve what you're doing, but actually rise to the level of excellence. What's needed? So we've included in this another dimension, which is moving to that excellence standard. And also there is the Facebook support. So once you join this program, the second program, this is the done for you. You get access to the Facebook support group. So the different pricings.
So Bruce, I would just add one other thing too. So within that Mission Control Center, your entire team can be embedded within that, right? We'll be embedded there with you, but you can bring your entire team into it, which is really a huge value add for you, because it immediately gives the whole organization access to all of these different things that we've been talking about. Sorry, Bruce.
Yeah, no problem. So the $9.95 per month, that was what we introduced last week, and that is when we have access to us on a weekly basis, the weekly coaching. We recognize some people don't need that you'll want to go ahead and do it yourself, and so we've reduced the difference there is $3.95 a month. So you come in, you stay for as long as you need it. You have access to all of these systems, all of these processes, the roadmap to assess where you are currently, therefore what you need to work on now. You do have access to us, the live question and answer, say, look, I'm here, what do I need? How can you help me? There is the online learning, there are the online learning modules. You can access your whole team via the Mission Control Center. And so you bring them on to this online system, and they immediately become active in improving what they're doing. And you get the Facebook support. So there are two areas of active support, Facebook group and our question and answer sessions, as well as online work for you. So if you are interested, if you're a self-motivated sort of person who feels that you're capable of getting on with this and can manage yourself in your own time, welcome to Aladdin's Cave. We give you access to the whole curriculum. If it is that you feel you do need greater levels of support, then clearly that's the next level up, which is the $9.95 per month. So if this interests you, this do it done for you package, then go through to the URL that Chris has up there now and insert the coupon code of freedom, and you'll be able to access that very quickly. So, Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's great. So I would just clarify. It's the $3.95 per month is a do-it-yourself. The $9.95 per month, where you get our time with weekly coaching. That's our done with you program. So $3.95. Enter the code freedom. $9.95 without the code freedom, and you'll basically get two very similar programs. One with more support from us. The other is at whatever pace you choose to use. So we're happy to help you with any piece of this, answer any questions you have. And as always, if you want to reach out to us, just message us, and we'll be happy to schedule a call with you.
Brilliant. So we look forward to connecting again next week, continuing this process. But more importantly, if you are interested either in finding out more about this, get back to us, or starting your progress in your ascension on the path through to scalability and salability, we will meet up with you on the other side.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, everybody.